Is that better? How's everybody doing? Oh boy, we've already got stuff going on in the chat here. Hold on one second. Let's see, Maria says, good afternoon, everyone. I grow my garden in pots. I've been busy for 4 years. Now I collect my organic seeds and give them away to Alhambra Library, the second floor of the adult area. Thank you very much, Maria. Maria, so I haven't done any avocado pit carving, although I've heard of that. Actually, today I'm going to be showing some carving, but not the kind of artistic carving you might be thinking. Actually carving out this log here. I'll move this for now. I'm actually going to be carving this into a planter. But we're not quite there yet. Swapness says, hi Benjamin, looking forward to learn more. My avocado tree is a couple of years old, an exact same brown leaf problem, but the new leaves are healthy ones, the old one getting brown black. Yeah, so I just recently released that new video on avocado leaves. You can check out that video. That should give you some good advice on couple of the different causes of avocado leaves turning brown like that. Just remember that avocado leaves turning brown is perfectly normal for avocado trees. In fact, we are just heading into the new growth season. So actually there's a tree over here I can show you. See my neighbors over here. They have an avocado tree that is relatively healthy, although I think that it might be having the same problem that the tree over here had. You can see that this part of the trunk is showing very obvious signs that something is wrong. It potentially could be something like Phytophthora, I'm not sure. If you look at this branch over here, you'll notice it looks much better than this one over here. And this is what the avocado trunk or branch should look like. And this is what the trees should look like right now. They should be coming out with some new green growth. Maybe if I stand up on this, I can get a little closer. You can notice up here that we do have some older leaves, like this one, that are showing signs of old age, actually. So it's perfectly normal for those to turn yellow and then eventually brown. That just creates leaf litter for the tree. But you should have the new green leaves coming out like these ones right in here. If you don't have those coming out quite yet, they should be coming out really soon. But again, it's natural for avocado trees to drop at least some of their leaves. This tree right here, that's actually a really good question. Let me zoom out a little bit. This tree must be, I would say at least 35, let's see, 40. It's got to be close to at least 40 years old. So this tree was actually planted by one of my older sisters from the seed from this avocado tree right over here, which unfortunately is no longer there. So the avocado tree, unfortunately, had been going downhill for, goodness, I'd say at least the last 15 years or so. And it finally just reached the point where the canopy died back to the place where it didn't look like it was going to make a recovery. In fact, the canopy of this tree, when it was in its prime, went all the way from the edges of the yard all the way around to this roof here. And in fact, it grew over the roof a little bit, probably stuck out about 4 or 5 feet over the roof of that garage right there. Before we chopped it down, it had died back to the point where the canopy probably only went about, I'd say 5 feet this way. And then kind of in this planar direction, it went about maybe 10 feet or so. So it really had died back. And this tree, at least before it was taken out, this was close to 100 years old. We're actually not sure how old the tree was because the story is that the tree was as old as the house, and the house is over 100 years old. But really, we don't know. I'm going to try to see if we can figure out how old it is based on the rings. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we had to take the tree down, but it really opened up the space. And as you can see, we've already built the raised bed here. And in fact, I've layered in some of the smaller logs from the avocado tree. So this is going to be our Hugelculture bed. In amongst the avocado logs and branches, I also have some smaller branches. I have a lot of different kinds of leaves in here. In fact, I've taken some of the leaves and material that was built up around the avocado tree, as well as some of the leaves from these oak trees here. In fact, the backyard has always had a thick layer of oak leaves. Oak leaves are actually really great for your garden, by the way. So I'm really glad that I had these mulched down oak leaves to put in here. I've been stuffing this kind of down underneath the branches here. Important thing when you're building a hugelculture, you need to make sure that you really stuff the leaves down, because once I put soil on top of this, if the leaves aren't packed down good enough, then the soil is going to end up washing down in between the leaves, which isn't really a problem, except that, of course, I'll have to go out and purchase more soil. Now, today, I went out and I found a bag of Worm Gold Plus. As you can see, it was an old bag of Worm Gold Plus, but I threw that in here along with a couple of large bags of coffee grounds that I picked up from some of the local Starbucks in the area. So I've packed that all on top of the logs and the branches and the leaves. That's actually going to help create a little bit of a nitrogen barrier between the soil and the logs. Let's see, Maria says, Ben, did you have a chance to take a visit at Mount Set Garden? I took care of 3 avocado trees and grew 500. Yeah, I've seen. In fact, I was teaching there last semester. Paul Cake is teaching this semester. He took over for the garden at least for the spring semester. I'm not sure if he's going to teach in the summer or not. I haven't seen the schedule yet. But I had to teach at the California Conservation Corps this semester. That class runs at the exact same time. They're both Friday mornings at 8 a.m. So I had to pick one or the other, and actually they ended up picking for me. But I haven't been to the Mount Set Garden, oh goodness, probably since maybe around January or February. But the last time I was there, the avocado trees were really producing, and in fact, I just had purchased a new avocado picker for them. Maybe I should live stream from over there one of these days. Now, back to the Hugelculture bed here. Some of you might be wondering, why did I put all of these logs and branches in here? Well, over time, these logs and branches are going to break down, and they are going to help store water in the soil. As a matter of fact, if I come over here and dig a little bit, in fact, I've got my trusty Hori with me just for this. Of course, doing it with one hand is a little awkward. Oh, I don't even have to dig, actually. There's a piece right there. So here's a piece of a branch that was in amongst the leaves and debris underneath the avocado tree. And as you can see, it is extremely porous. It's extremely brittle. And it's actually like a sponge. If I took this and I put it in some water, it would actually soak the water right up. That's what these logs are going to be like after they've been under the soil for a little while. Now, I did want to show you all something interesting in here. Oh, Mindy, yes, I see your question. We might be getting some evening gardening classes. Right now, we're waiting. Sage is actually on maternity leave right now, and so a couple of things are on a little bit of a standstill. Shouldn't leave that there, I guess. But I'll make an announcement the second that I know. One of our new professors has also shown interest in teaching one of the sustainability courses, so we might get another time for one of the sustainability courses as well. So Swapna asks, how long does it take to come to this point? So in order to reach the point where the logs are broken down like that, it depends on the type of wood that you're breaking down. Now, some of these pieces of wood in here, actually, I put in here probably just a few years ago. See if I can find anything else in here. See, this is all kind of a mishmash now of some of the leaf litter that was under this avocado tree has also been mixed with some of the soil that I've been moving around in here. So it's all kind of mixed up now. Here's a good chunk right here. Now this hasn't broken down yet. This is probably a newer branch that was up towards the top of the pile in here. I would say at least 3 to 5 years for medium wood like avocado to break down. I don't really consider, avocado is not a softwood, but I also don't consider it a hardwood. So it will take a little while for all of this to break down. That's one of the reasons why I also added in the coffee grounds and the worm castings to add a little bit more nitrogen in here. I'm also going to be inoculating the soil with mycorrhizal fungus and beneficial bacteria, which will also help with this process. I've also just purchased, and actually it arrived today, and I probably should have brought it out here, but I don't have it with me. I'll have to show it to you next week. I also bought some mushroom starter. There's a type of mushroom called wine cap mushroom that I just learned about. It's a saprophytic fungus that actually grows in wood chips. And I learned about it because there was a study that I read that talks about these cells, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember what the cells are called, but they have these little cells that actually attack and kill nematodes. And so I'm going to try growing these wine cap mushrooms in here, since this is going to be primarily a tomato bed. I'm hoping that having those mushrooms in here and having that mycelium in here will help to keep nematodes out of the tomato bed. Now, earlier this week, I told my students I was planning on drilling into these logs and that I was going to inoculate the mycelium into these logs. I discovered that I didn't know what I was talking about. So the wine cap mushroom actually grows in wood chips on the surface of the soil. And so I'm going to be putting some wood chips on top of this bed, probably about 2 or 3 inches, and I'll inoculate those wood chips with that mycelium to get the wine cap mushrooms in here. Now, oh, that's interesting. Is that what I think it is? As I'm digging around, so there we go. This is one of the interesting things I found since the tree has come out. If you can't tell, this is a tennis ball. And this tennis ball is probably from my childhood. I've been finding my toys, my old balls in here. I've been finding things from my nephew. In fact, I think that I've found stuff in here that probably goes back at least 40, 50 years. This is what happens when you have a house with lots of kids and and you have a leaf pile. We'll pick that up later. And yes, this is a Hugelculture. So this is a Hugelculture bed. I'm going to be experimenting with this. I've actually never done a raised bed like this, and I'm trying a couple of different things. You all might have noticed that I used cinder blocks here. The problem with cinder blocks here in California is these get extremely hot. That heat can actually radiate out into the soil. and obviously that makes the water evaporate faster. And so I'm going to be trying a couple of new. I'm going to be stuffing some straw into these cinder blocks to create a little bit of a, oh, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? Insulation, there we go. Had to work my brain for a couple of seconds. So I'm going to try to create some insulation in here, and then we're going to put some caps on top to try and prevent the chimney effect. And we're also going to try putting a little bit of burlap on the outside of this. I'm actually going to use some wooden dowels as spacers so that the burlap will sit maybe a little bit, half-inch or so air gap between the burlap and these concrete blocks. The idea is that that will help to prevent the blocks from transmitting, from getting as hot, and also from transmitting heat into the soil here. Of course, the Hugelculture is also going to help store water over time. You know, even before these break down and the plant roots starting getting into here, the roots from the plants will go underneath and into these little spaces here and there. This whole area in here is going to be really nice and cool, and so really this is going to be like a sponge in here. And we are not going to have to water this bed as much as a traditional raised garden bed. That much I do know. Now, let's see here. Does anybody have any questions about the bed, the Hugelculture? And if not, that's totally fine. It's just like my classes. I'm going to have to start bribing people to ask questions, right? Oh, we do have a question. Let's see here. The question is, we began a leaf mold pile when our leaves fell, ground them up, and now have added grass clippings from our garden. Do you suggest turning the pile over? So for leaf mold, traditionally, with leaf mold, you just pile up leaves. If you're adding greens into that, that's going to be a bit more like a compost pile. So leaf mold, as that breaks down, you get a lot more fungus in there because you have mostly browns or carbon-based materials breaking down. When you start adding the grass clippings, you're adding in nitrogen, and that's actually not a bad thing. It's just going to make compost instead of leaf mold. If you want it to break down faster, you can churn it, and that will help the process. If it starts to smell bad, if the grass clippings start to get a sour smell to them, then I would recommend churning it and maybe rinsing it off a little bit. But with leaf mold, you can actually just pile up a bunch of leaves and just leave them alone, and they will become leaf mold. And I'll show you right here. I've actually been stealing some of the leaves from under here. Now, this is the lemon tree here, so I'm trying to make sure I don't trip as I back up. So this lemon tree has been here for, goodness, at least 40 years. And underneath it, you'll see that we have a mixture of some wood chips in here, lots of lemon leaves that have broken down over time, and obviously some of the oak leaves as well. So this is naturally formed leaf mold under here. This was actually much thicker, but just had the fence redone, and so some of the leaves got raked off into here. And then I decided to steal some of this to put into the Hugelculture bed over there. The good thing about leaf mold, when you don't add the green materials, is this has a lot more mycelium in it, so this is going to have more of the different types of fungus, whereas when you make compost, you're going to typically have more bacteria in there. And of course, in a healthy soil, you need fungus, you need bacteria, you need all kinds of different stuff in there. Let's see. Swapna says, can't wait to see the end results. Thank you very much. I can't wait too. Mindy asks, how long can you start growing things in the bed? So I'm planning on planting the bed up next week. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing another live stream. So during this week, I'm going to go pick up the soil. Oh, I have a friend. I don't know if you all saw that. Where'd he go? I'm easily distracted. So this week I'm going to go pick up the soil from Wolfenbagger's. We're going to fill this up. Next Monday I'll do another live stream, and during that live stream I'm going to build the irrigation system. I'll show you how I lay that out in here. It's going to be a drip irrigation system. We're going to plant up all of the plants, and I might get started on layering in the wood chips. I'm not sure if that's going to be this upcoming Monday or the following week. We'll just have to see how much time I actually have. Let's see. So should we remove just the grass clipping topper? No, it's totally up to you for your mix. If you're trying to make leaf mold, then you should just have leaves in there. But if you're adding the grass clippings, that's not a bad thing. You're just making compost instead of leaf mold. And to be honest, I don't know that there's really a hard definition, the difference between compost and leaf mold. There's degrees of difference between them. So if you just added a little bit of grass clippings to help it break down a little bit faster, totally fine. When I was a student over at the Lyle Center, we had someone who was experimenting making different types of compost, and they actually found that oak leaves and coffee grounds made some of the best compost. Oh, hello. I have another friend here, sorry. Ever since I know I'm getting distracted, I apologize. Ever since we chopped this down and started moving things around, we have all kinds of detritivores in here. So there's tons of roly-polies, tons of earwigs that have come out of this pile, and the lizards have come in here and they're just eating everything up. I mean, it's really incredible, the life that we have in here right now. Now, I have a couple of other things I want to show you really quick here before I move on. I'm actually really excited. We just had a little bit of heat, but before that we had some rain. And I want to show you the Jabba da Kaba, or Jabba da Kaba? Oh, helicopter going ahead. I apologize if you can't hear me. I can't hear me, so I don't know if you can hear me. Now, I've talked about this fruit in class before. This is a really unique fruit because it flowers and fruits right out of the bark here. These actually come from South America, and they have these trees that are just absolutely massive, huge trees, and covered in, probably tens of thousands of this fruit. It's really incredible. In fact, if I look up, you can see even more of it up here. Along there, all of these branches are just completely covered right now. Pretty awesome. We're really enjoy this fruit here, but the problem with it is that it's only good for maybe a week or so. The animals love it, so they come in and they eat everything up. So this year we're going to experiment a little bit with preserving some of the fruit. We're going to try to pick it all and try making a couple of different kinds of preserves. All right, I just wanted to show you that because it's cool. Alrighty, now, if you don't mind, just waiting 1 second here, I'm going to try to get this set up. Let's see here. Now, does anybody have any other questions they would like to ask right now while I'm setting this up? There we go. All right. Now let's see if I can get this set here so that you all can see me while I'm working on this. Now what I'm going to be doing next is working on this wood planter here. Apologies, I should have set this better before I There we go. Okay. There. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of the tools I'm going to use to show you what I'm going to be using to hollow out this log. Oh, the fruit, sorry. So, Julia, the name of the fruit is, I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's a Jabadakaba. Goodness, I'd look it up and tell you how to spell it, but my phone is live streaming right now, so I can't exactly do that. Apologize. You know what I'm going to do is I'll post a community post after this live stream ends with the name of the fruit and the spelling. It's something like Jaba, Jabadakaba, Kaba, C-A-B. I can't remember. Every time I try to look it up, actually, a lot of times I have to get the AI to help me remember how to spell it. And even then, it gets messed up. You're welcome, Julia. Have another question. Any questions for baby Gemma avocado that we planted in ground? Oh, hey, Ellen and Min. Good to see you both. It's been a while. So my biggest suggestion for any new avocado tree is just to make sure that you leave the leaves on the ground. That's number one. So avocado trees should always have a thick layer of leaf mulch around them. In fact, if you take a look at the big avocado orchards, that's their secret, is you leave the leaves on the ground, let it break down. And as those leaves break down, they're going to create the kind of soil ecosystem that the avocado roots want to have. So that's number one, is just leave the leaves on the ground. And when possible, of course, we're in California and we don't get that much rain, but when we do get rain, try not to overwater your avocados during that period of time. One of the problems here is that the water that we pipe in here in California, a lot of it comes from the Colorado River, and it's actually quite salty. And avocado trees are extremely, what's the word that I'm looking for? Extremely sensitive to salinity. So that's probably one of the biggest issues that we have with avocado trees is overwatering with piped in water, leading to salinity damage and built up salts in the soil. The good news is, of course, we got a good amount of rain early this season, and that helped to wash a lot of salts out. All right, now I'm going to show you some of these tools that I'm about to use right now. Let me grab them and pull them over. Hopefully my microphone is working and you can hear me. Now, I'm going to start off with this drill here. As I said earlier, if you weren't here, I guess I should repeat myself. I'm going to be hollowing out this log to build a planter. Now, I'm going to make sure that I can keep up with you all in the chat, so give me just 1 second to pull up my little iPad here. So that I can follow along. Let me just mute it really quick. All right, perfect. Okay. And I see, yes, I think you're right, Mindy. It's Jaboticaba. Yeah, that looks right. Jabadakaba. All right. Now I will leave this here so I can see the chat. And we're going to get started on this thing. Now, you'll notice that I'm using an old-timey tool here. This is a hand drill known as a brace and bit. I made myself a promise that as I hollowed this out, I wasn't going to use any power tools. And so I've been trying to experiment with old-fashioned tools like this. And what I'm doing right now is I'm drilling some holes. You can see, get started here. And by the way, feel free to ask any questions or continue to chat with me in the chat. I've got it right here. Also, if you need a better view, let me know. I could pull the camera over here and show you what I'm doing a little bit closer. But as you can see, We're drilling down. Ooh, man, oh boy. Okay, these shavings are extremely hot right now. I'm actually really surprised. That's probably from the heat that was absorbed, and also the thermal generation just of the drilling down into this log. But man, that is hot. So I've been drilling holes in the top of this log. And after I've gotten a couple of holes drilled here and there, oops, let's fix that. By the way, this is a ratcheting brace and bit. There we go. Which if you ever want to use a brace and bit for something like this, a ratcheting brace and bit is great. That ratchet makes it so that right now I have to take a full swing to drill down, but if I turn the ratchet on, I can make a much smaller movement and continue drilling straight down. So once I get deeper into this log, I won't be able to make that full motion, and I'll need to ratchet. So that's going to be really useful later on. Now let's see here. Woo! Gonna drill one more hole and then I'll show you the next step. How's the view, everybody? Would you like me to get a little bit closer to the wood, or is this okay? Sorry, I lost the live chat. There we go. Oh, no. This isn't too hard, actually. But woo! Yeah, that wood is hot. You know, it's really cool. I had no idea that avocado wood was so pretty. By the way, I take all of these wood chips and I put them into the Hugelculture too. But take a look at these chips. Look at how pretty they are. It's really gorgeous. You know, I don't see people using avocado wood for a lot of stuff, but it's a lot prettier than I thought it was going to be. Toss that into the Hugelculture. We'll back this out, and then I'll show you some of my other tools here. Now, I'm not going to be using this tool today. But I do have this tool. This is called an adze, and this is actually used also for cleaning out logs like this. I'm going to end up knocking over my iPad here, but you can use it like this. But this is kind of messy. Also, I should be wearing goggles if I was doing this, and I should be wearing gloves as well. But I don't really like using the adze. I gotta be honest, it feels kind of impersonal. I really like using just a chisel, like so. I also have a curved chisel. I don't have that with me today, but I have a curved chisel for when I get down further into the log so that I can create a rounded bottom. But what I'm doing here is I'm coming up to the holes that I just drilled. And with those holes, it's a lot easier to chisel out larger pieces of the wood. Nope, that went too deep. What I like to do is I like to find a seam in the wood and I kind of follow it and I chisel along until I find the place where I can break it off. I really enjoy this process of chiseling the wood. Gives me a better feel of the wood. I enjoy finding the burls and the imperfections in the wood. And just like that, nice chunk comes off, and then toss that into Hugelculture too. We'll pretend like that made it in. It did not. But this is what I do. So, good question. Diane asked, does it smell great? You know, it has a really, I don't know, it has kind of a sweetness to it. It's not like any wood scents that I'm used to. I really enjoy it, but I don't know, it doesn't smell like a lot of other woods. Oh yeah. Now, my dad really didn't want to chop down this avocado tree. And for several years, I've tried to convince him to chop it down. And I kind of feel bad a little bit. Because honestly, if it were up to him, I imagine we probably wouldn't have chopped it down. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, to make this planter for their garden. I guess maybe this is my apology. Ooh, that's a nice big chunk. Look at that. I'll pull this piece off and show you. But I decided I wanted to build this only with hand tools. I guess this is my punishment for my sin of convincing my dad to chop down the tree. No, not really. Actually, to be honest, I've always enjoyed woodworking, and I haven't been able to do anything like this in quite some time. I took woodworking classes when I was in junior high, and I don't know. There's something really nice about manual jobs like this. Anyone have any other questions? And by the way, if anybody has any garden-related questions, if there's anything going on in your gardens at home, let me know. I'm here to answer any questions you might have. How are your gardens doing? Did everything survive the heat out there? Today wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I've been working outside all day. Either I got used to the 100 degrees or it must have been in the 80s today. It really didn't feel like it hit 90. By the way, my microphone is working, right? Can you hear me? Test, test, 1, 2, 3, test. It is a valid question. This is actually a brand new phone, and I haven't tested this microphone with the phone. I probably should have done that before I live streamed. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you, Diane. Oh boy. So what's been going on in your gardens, everybody? Come on, don't be shy. Here's a nice big piece. See, I always complain about how I don't have time to do anything, and then I live stream, and I am literally chiseling a wood log with a chisel and hammer. Swapna says, I think you brought Rishi one day to our class. I went to his farm, his mother farm, and saw mulberry. Oh, yeah. Very cool. Yeah, mulberries are absolutely delicious. Oh, and I guess I forgot to mention, we're going to be planting some fruit trees back here now that the avocado tree is gone. Actually, right in line with where I am here, about 2-3 feet this way, we're going to have, I believe, a peach and an apricot, and then we're actually going to have 4 more fruit trees in a row here. If I can remember correctly, it's a peach, apricot, burgundy plum, a pluot, an apple, and a Fuyujiro, Japanese persimmon. We're also going to plant a mulberry and a fig as well. So in the coming weeks, I'll be purchasing those trees, and not quite sure if I'm going to record a video when I plant the trees. I might actually do another live stream when we plant those. I'm going to try really hard to see if I can convince Tom Spellman to come out. I would love it if I could get Tom out here. By the way, Tom has a great YouTube channel if you're interested in learning about fruit trees. Actually, funny thing, I think that his channel is called Growing with Tom Spellman, and I swear to God that I created this channel before I learned about his new channel. He made his channel first. It just so happens that we chose pretty much the same name for our channels. Maybe that means I'm as cool as Tom Spellman. No, I'm not as cool as Tom Spellman, unfortunately. Let's see. Yolanda says, in my garden, just removing weeds. Oh, yeah, that's not very much fun, is it? Try Jamun unique test famous in India. Okay. Check that out. Yolanda says, love the wooden fence in the background. Oh, thank you very much, Yolanda. The fence looks really great right now because it just went up. Actually, the neighbor Jeff came over and put up the new fences on the north side and east side of the yard. West side still has an old fence. We won't look at that one right now. But thank you. I think it looks great too. I should show some pictures of the old fence. It was over 30 years old and it was really falling apart. Oh, be myself. Oh, do I have any jokes today? Goodness. What are my jokes today? Woohoo, look at that. I heard a couple of good jokes recently, but honestly, I don't think I have any jokes today. I'm all joked out. I don't know why. I'm serious Ben today. What's up with that? Let's see. I see. Oh, hey, Jenny. Let's see. She says, thanks for sharing. Just wondering about maybe because of the hot weather. Should I take off the fruit since it's just started flowering? Jenny, was that a spelling error? Wondering about my maybe. Is that not mulberry? Is it? I'll let you clarify that before I answer the question. Mindy asks, what do I want to transform this log into? Well, actually, I'm going to hollow this log out, not completely, but I'm going to create a cavity in here, and it's going to be a log planter. This is a way for the avocado tree to continue to be a part of this garden. Now, avocado wood does not last a long time, and especially with soil inside it, it's probably going to start to, I don't want to say disintegrate, it's going to start to break down relatively quickly. And so I don't know how long this is going to last as a planter. It might only last for 5 years. If we're lucky, maybe 10 or 15 years. But in any case, once its life as a planter is over, we can take it and find a place to bury it and use it as another piece of hugelkulture. But it's going to be used as a planter for now. Woohoo, okay, got a bunch of stuff in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see. My orange tree has some oranges but started flowering already. Should I take off the fruit now? Oh, yeah. So for an orange tree, you don't have to pull all of the oranges off right now. Although with the heat we just had, I don't know how long they're going to last. Some fruit trees, the fruit will last a little bit longer if you leave it on the tree. Good example is this Eureka lemon next to me, and I know that you can't see it. I showed it to you a minute ago. These lemons last a very, very long time when they're on the tree and then start to degrade much faster once they've been harvested. So it really just depends on the type of orange that you have. But I would say, especially with the heat that we just had, I might try to pick those oranges fairly soon and then maybe process them. A lot of times with things like oranges, if I have too much, I like to just squeeze them out and make some orange juice. And if you can't drink it all right away, freeze it into cubes. I do the same thing with the limes and the lemons here, where we squeeze them, freeze the juice, and then take those little ice cubes and just pop them into the cooking, or pop them into wherever we want to use them. They keep for a really long time that way. In fact, I think that we've probably got some cubes that are at least 6 months old and totally fine. Let's see. Yolanda says, give yourself time, the jokes will come. I don't know, Yolanda. I don't know. I'm very serious today. Very serious. Let's see. Alan says, our backyard lawn has bare spots. Our gardeners spread seed, but now since rain, new grass is emerging, but also lots of weeds, including crabgrass. Gardener said to wait before treating, okay or not? Yeah, I would wait. Of course, I'm not big on treating in lawns. You know me, I'm not big on things like herbicides. But I would wait a little bit. The best thing you can do right now with that new grass seed coming up is if you can hand pick the crabgrass out. But of course, I know probably don't want to do that. It's not a lot of fun, is it? Let's see. Swapna says, thanks for a wonderful time with you. I'm going to go on my daily walk. See you later, Swapna. If you haven't left yet, hope you have a great walk. Julian says, is that an epiphyllum queen of the night in the pot or something else? And yes, that is a very good eye. As a matter of fact, there's a bunch of epiphyllums here, and there are lots of cuttings here that need to be planted up. Unfortunately, we had to take these out. There was actually epiphyllums all along the fence here, some of them in pots and some of them actually had escaped their pots. They weren't planted in the ground on purpose, but there was a lot in the ground back here. They were very, very happy in the shade of the avocado tree, but of course, now that the avocado is gone, I think it's going to be a little bit too sunny for them over here. But actually, we're going to be cutting these up. We're going to start regrowing some of them in pots. And actually, some of these I'm going to be bringing into my classes. In fact, I might even do that this week. I'll bring some cuttings in. So if any of you from my classes are here, come talk to me during the week, and I can give you some clippings or cuttings. Of course, you do want to make sure, since I haven't finished cutting these, they do need to callus off before you stick them in the ground. I'm going to be making fresh cuts on these, so if I give an epiphyllum to anybody this week, make sure that you let them callus off before you stick them in soil. Let's see. This is just like being in class. Is it? Well, good. I'm glad. And I hope you all are having a good time. I'm having a good time. I think it's nice to have someone to talk to while I'm chipping away at the log here. Of course, I'm planning on doing this live stream. I think I'm going to do it every Monday, although if we find a better time for everybody, I might change the time. I don't think I'll be working on this every Monday. Of course, I'll show you the progress, but I do have some big projects coming up, and I think that I'll try to do them on Mondays, and I'll bring you all along so you can see what we're doing back here. There we go. This is going to be a nice big chunk. Let's see, Yolanda says, Ben, in today's paper, OC Register, they have an article about forest bathing. Ooh, nice, yeah. Definitely mentioned that in the class this Friday. Of course, we'll be talking about forest bathing in the coming weeks. Actually, when is that lecture? I think this week we're talking about circular economies. Forest bathing, I think I moved back to week 8 or 9, but we will be talking about forest bathing. But yeah, bring that up in class and we'll talk about it. For those of you who haven't heard of forest bathing is the practice of going out into the forest and bathing. Mm-hmm. No, I'm just kidding. No, forest bathing is actually the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, which translates into forest bathing. And it is a practice of going out into nature and bathing in the atmosphere. And it's actually very good for you. In fact, they've been doing studies on forest bathing at least going back to the 1990s. The practice came about in the 1980s. Well, at least the practice of Shinrin-yoku emerged in the 1980s. Of course, people have been spending time in nature going all the way back, I think. So it's something we've been doing for a very long time. But actually, studies have shown that when we spend time in nature, when we spend time outside, there's a whole host of physiological benefits. There's benefits for our physical health, for our minds, just makes everything better. Let's see. Diane says, I need to go see you in class tomorrow. Take care, Diane. If I caught you, hope you have a wonderful evening. And yes, I'll see you in class. Oh boy, it's almost 6:30 already. I can't believe how fast the time went here. I'll keep hanging out as long as there's a couple of people here. Y'all are probably going to be eating your dinner soon. In fact, I'm usually eating my dinner right now. I'm one of those early people. I like to get an early dinner, usually around 5:30 or so. Although that depends on whether I've got projects going on. I'm one of those people that's really bad. When I'm working in the garden, I'll eat a really big breakfast, and then I'll work all day, and sometimes I don't eat anything until dinner time. Not because I'm not hungry, but just because I don't think about it. That's not healthy. So Alan asks if I ever used an onsen. Yes, when I was in Japan, I didn't go to any public onsens. I was not brave enough for that. Oops, I'm sorry, I was covering the microphone, wasn't I? I did do some private baths, and so I've had the experience, just not amongst my fellows. I'm not brave enough for that yet. We'll maybe someday, but not now. Let's see. Yolanda asks, Ben, how long will you be chipping away at the log you're sitting on? Would be a different type of procedure work. Yeah, so it's going to be a really long time. Now, mind you, I'm chatting and working right now, so I'm not doing a whole lot. But this will be a slow process. And to be honest, this is probably going to take me weeks, maybe even a month of work to hollow this out. It really depends on how much time I decide to dedicate to this. And of course, there are other things that I can do. For instance, using my drill, if I get a larger drill bit, I could drill some larger holes in here. And that would speed this up quite a bit. In fact, if I just drilled a couple more holes in a row here, it would make it much easier to chip this out. But I'm not trying to do this fast. I'm not trying to do this the most efficient way. I actually am just kind of doing this for fun right now. And I don't know, I'm just enjoying working with wood. I know that's not a very efficient use of my time, but with all of the time that I spend trying to be efficient, this is the one time that I don't want to be efficient. Let's see what else we have here. We had our front side yard plant switched out. It looks great with only drought-resistant plants. Glad to hear that. I love drought-tolerant or drought-resistant plants, especially California natives, Mediterranean plants. Good work. Yolanda says, will your dad partake in chipping out to the log? I haven't asked him. I could ask him if he wants to. And if he would like to, then yes. He is more than welcome to, just as long as he doesn't smash his hand like I'm bound to do sitting here talking and working at the same time. Oops. Pounded that a little bit too hard there. There we go. But yeah, it's definitely faster when I'm focusing on my work. But I don't know. I really enjoy this. There's definitely a faster way to getting these little pieces of wood out, but I don't know. Sometimes I just see a seam opening up in the wood and I follow it for a little bit and then I chip a little piece off and I examine it and I think about this tree and its life and, what it went through. I don't know. I think that this process in a way is kind of processing, that this tree has been here my entire life. In fact, I've told you all in class that some of my earliest memories, here on this property were actually being right here. In fact, it was right here. And I could look up and I would look through the leaves of this tree. And I think that the first time that I ever thought to myself something was really beautiful was actually looking through the leaves of the trees at how the sunlight kind of sparkled through and thinking to myself, God, that's beautiful. And I must have been 4 or 5 years old. This is actually just about here was where we had a little swing set back here. And in fact, had some monkey bars that went across out this way. One of these days I'll find the pictures. I've only found a couple of pictures and none of them are very good, but I'll find some pictures and I'll share them with you to show you all what it looked like when I was a little kid. But I don't know. I think that's part of why I'm taking my time with this project and spending some time with this wood is because this tree was a really, really important part of my childhood. And I don't know. I'm just spending some time with it. And allowing my mind to process the fact that the tree is gone now, which is sad. Let's see here. A couple more comments in here. Love it when your dad is in our class. Yeah, Yolanda, I know. I love it when my dad comes to all the classes too. In fact, I get the same comment. He sometimes comes to the in-person classes. For those of you who haven't met my dad or don't know him, my dad, he's the one who taught me how to garden. Long before I went to college for any of this. And he worked at Armstrong's as his second career, probably for over 20 years, I think. He worked at Armstrong's. And of course, to this day, when I have questions about stuff, I go to my dad and ask him, my plant questions. In fact, he should probably be teaching the Mount Sat classes. Let's see, we have a question. Are all California natives fireproof? Not all California natives are fireproof, no. And I wouldn't say any of them are fireproof, but fire resistant, yes. There's actually a really great article that was just written by one of my professors. His name is Professor Douglas Kent from Cal Poly Pomona. In fact, if you go to the Growing with Professor Brown Facebook group, and if you don't know how to get there, you can go to growingwithprofessorbrown.com. Then at the very, very bottom of the page, there's a link to our Facebook group. Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I shared Douglas Kent's post. He wrote this article talking about the Altadena fires. They were actually looking at different yards and landscapes, and they were examining how some landscapes actually saved homes from the fires. And in fact, there's going to be some studies coming out, people examining the different types of landscapes that we have, because we have found that there were certain types of landscapes that led to homes burning down, and there were landscapes that actually helped to protect homes. So you're going to be hearing about that. But if you're interested in reading that article, again, it's on the Facebook group. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of the website or the name of the article, but it's a really, really good read. Lots of great pictures in there. And Douglas Kent is one of the premier authorities in firescaping here in California, as a matter of fact. He wrote several books on firescaping. My dad used to work at Armstrong's, as I mentioned, and they sold those firescaping books at Armstrong's. As a matter of fact, it was funny because when I took that class with Douglas Kent, he mentioned that he was an author, and I looked up the book and I said, "Hey, wait a second." I said, I've read your book. So the question is, what is the fire department looking for? Depends on the fire department. Usually when the fire department comes out looking for something, they're usually just looking for brush reduction, but it really depends on where you live. It depends on your fire department. Good idea to talk to them. Sometimes they'll have a web page where they talk about what they're looking for. But if you're interested in learning more about firescaping, I do recommend Douglas Kent's books, or actually even just reading his articles online. You don't have to purchase them. Douglas, if you're here, then you do have to purchase his books. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Was that a joke, Yolanda? I'm not sure. Yolanda says, I know this has nothing to do with your current show, but how is your sister doing since her home burned down? Yeah, so my sister's doing okay. They have not rebuilt yet. For those of you who don't know, my sister lost her home in Altadena during the fires. The good news is they haven't moved into the home yet. They had actually purchased the home and were in the process of moving in. They were fixing it up, but they were still living in their apartment. And the other good news is they hadn't really moved in anything of significance. I mean, they had purchased a lot of expensive things to move into their home, and it was very unfortunate that they lost those things. But pictures, important documents, all of the memorabilia, those sorts of things were still in their apartment. So my sister is extremely fortunate that she didn't lose anything more than a house. And of course, losing a house is a really big deal, obviously, but it could have been much worse. So they're still living in their apartment. They haven't broken ground yet. In fact, I don't know if the plans have even been approved. It's been very, very slow rebuilding. In fact, it's been well over a year now, and I'm not sure if any homes have been completed. They had a news story a while back saying a home had been completed, but actually it was a home that had been damaged by the fire. It was not a complete rebuild. So I don't know about that. Anyway, I'm not up to date on how the homes are doing over there, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm all caught up in the chat. But yeah, thank you for asking, Yolanda. I do appreciate that. She's doing okay, though. In fact, I have to take her out to lunch one of these days. I told her I was going to take her out to lunch when she brought me home from the airport, and I haven't done that yet. Should probably move this a little bit so I don't whack it. See, Yolanda says, thank God for that. Losing precious items is so hard. Keep her in my prayers. Thank you very much, Yolanda. Again, I appreciate that. Now, I know it's already 6:30 and I said I was going to be here for an hour, but if anybody has any questions, comments, anything they'd like to share, I'm going to stick around. At least until the sun goes down to the point that I can't see anymore. Also, if anybody needed to leave at 6:30, this is the announcement. It is 6:30 now, and you are free to go. Not that this was an assignment or anything. I gotta watch my wording. I'm gonna get in trouble one of these days. I bet my boss is here watching, going, that's suspicious. Let's see here. Thanks for the community and knowledge sharing. Sorry about your sister's house loss. And gotta go. Happy spring. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much for coming and watching. And if anybody else needs to go right now, blah, 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 blah. Gotta talk a little bit slower, don't I? If anybody else has to get going, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there and eat a good dinner. Thank you very much, Sandy. We'll see you in class. Take care. So Yolanda has a question. Let's see. Is there a plant that can tolerate occasional flooding? I had an area that floods when it rains. Actually, yes. If you look up a rain garden, or what's the other term? This is a test. Someone remember the term that I'm trying to remember for me. No, bioswale. So if you look up a rain garden or bioswales, you can find lists of plants that can grow in there. A lot of times you're looking at different types of reeds and grasses. In fact, there's a lot of California native plants that can go in places that occasionally flood, and those plants actually do quite well. Matter of fact, when you're designing your garden, it's a good idea to pay attention to those sorts of things. You know, what areas flood, what areas are really dry, and then select plants for, you know, what's going to do well in that space. But yeah, I would recommend some of the reeds, you know, the California native reeds. There's the juncus reeds that were actually used by indigenous peoples for making like the tule reed dolls and for weaving. Also, the Muhlenbergia, the deer grass is really nice, and that can go in places that flood on occasion. And in fact, they'll soak that water right up. So you've got options. Matter of fact, if you go to calscape.org, they should have a list of plants that have a high tolerance to water. I don't know if they have a list specific for rain gardens, but there's got to be a rain garden list out there somewhere. Let's see here. All right, it looks like I'm all caught up on questions. Good. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask away. I'm happy to work and talk at the same time. If you don't want to ask your questions now, that's fine too. You can always ask in class during the week. Got a nice chunk. There we go. You're very welcome, Yolanda. Oh boy, I need to pile the wood up over here. I'm not making any of these shots. I'm glad you can't see my throws. There's just scattered wood all over the side of the raised bed right now. Oh, looks like we got a question. Hi Ben, Jeff and Brandon from your class. Classes a couple of years ago. Hey Jeff, Brandon, how are you doing? Good to hear from you. We did have a question about the lawn replacement programs where the city pays you to take them out. We want to do that. Okay, that's awesome. So if you go to, I think it's bewaterwise.org, if I remember correctly. If that's not it, you can look up California water rebates, and the website should pop right up. But there is a central website. I think it's the Bewaterwise website. You'll enter your information on that website, and it will tell you who you need to connect with. Now, if you have trouble finding that website, of course, I think you still have my email address. Feel free to shoot me an email and I can send you that information. Couple of things you're going to want to do, though. Make sure you get approval for the project before you start anything. On occasion, they'll send someone out to take a look at your lawn before they approve your project. Now, a lot of times, they don't send anybody out, but I actually knew somebody who applied for the lawn removal rebate, and immediately after they put the application in, they started taking the lawn out. Just so happens that they were selected to be one of the people that an inspector came out and basically said, we're not going to pay you to take out your lawn because you already took your lawn out. And so they ended up not getting the rebate, unfortunately. So just make sure that you apply for the rebate, wait for them to give you approval, and follow all of the steps. They did add a couple of new things. You do have to have some kind of a way to keep water on your property. So you're going to have to build some kind of a rain garden or some kind of a berm or a bioswale to store water on your property. Well, not to store water. You don't have to build a river or a lake. You just have to have a way to capture the rain so that it doesn't just wash off and into the street. But it's not too hard to do, and there's actually some companies out there that can help with that as well. But if you have any questions about the process, or if you need any help along the way, feel free to reach out. I'm sorry, I keep covering the microphone. You know how to contact me, and I'm here to help. Let's see here. Are they specific about the plants? Not really, to be honest. I mean, I think that they want the plants to be drought tolerant, but in my experience, as long as it's no longer grass, you'll be okay. They do want a certain number of plants for the space, and I forget what it is, that they have some kind of a measurement. They say for every 100 square feet, you have to have X number of plants. You don't have to follow that to a T. It depends on the size of the plants that you're planting. But they do have some requirements for that. Let's see. Yolanda says the chips that you are throwing away, will you be using it for mulch? Yeah. So these wood chips, I'm going to be putting them in the Hugelculture, and anything that I chip out of here after I've put the soil in the Hugelculture, I'm just going to lay the chips on the ground out here. Just add that to the wood chips that we have around the trees and around the walking paths. Let's see. Oh, Sandy's still here. Sandy, I thought you said you were going to go away. Couldn't get enough of me, huh? I'm going to get fired, aren't I? And Sandy, yes, I agree. I'm also glad that they're taking out their lawn. I like lawns, don't get me wrong. I think that they have their purpose, but I also think we have too many lawns here in California, in a place where we're so concerned about our water. I think that, I don't know why we have lawns, except that it's just a cultural phenomenon. If you want to be a good neighbor, you have to have a good lawn, right? Funny thing, I took out the lawn in this backyard probably 15 years ago now, and the front yard was done about 3 years ago. And there was some concern about taking out the lawn, but even as I was in the process of taking the lawn out and planting the plants, I can't tell you how many people walked by and said, wow, this looks amazing, it's going to look great. I had someone who walked by after everything was planted, and they said, this is the right way to do it, good job. So there's a lot of support, and I think that there's a lot more growing support out there for people taking out their lawns and moving towards drought-tolerant landscaping. It's a lot more pushback in prior years, but I think that the public opinion is changing. Oh yeah, no, I know, Sandy. It's okay. I'm not. I apologize. I'm not trying to chase you away, Sandy. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Yolanda says, how's your mom thinking about what you're doing? And is this the only log you'll be chipping away? Oh, my mom likes all the stuff that I'm doing, I think. I don't know. You'll have to ask her. I think that she likes it. I think that when the front yard was first done, she was a little bit iffy on it, but I think that she appreciates it now, so. Let's see. All right. Now I know it's getting pretty close to 7 o'clock here, and I'm starting to lose my light. So I'll ask, does anybody have any final questions or anything they'd like to share before I end the stream tonight? In fact, maybe I'll dust this off. Not taking very good care of this. Someone's having a good time over there. I don't know if you all heard that. All right, let's see. I'm gonna grab the phone over here. Oop. I've got an indent on me from sitting for so long, let me tell you. Hey everybody, I did that on purpose. That was Definitely on purpose. Let's see here. All right, so do you have any idea how long it takes for submissions to approve? So that part can be a little bit tricky. During the busy time, it can take months. It can take as little as 5 to 6 weeks, but count on it being bare minimum a month. It also depends a little bit on how many applications are currently coming in. So the sooner you do it, the better off you're going to be. Thank you very much, Maria. I appreciate that. And thank you, Yolanda. Appreciate that. See you on Friday. Oh, and thanks, Maria. I have to be patient too. It's going to take a long time to finish this up, but you know what? It's definitely worth it. And I guess before I part ways, I will show you all. So right in here, this is where the fruit trees are going to go. We're going to do a backyard orchard style planting, where we'll have 2 trees right here, 2 trees right here in the middle, and then 2 trees down on that end. And then actually back here where the old raised garden bed was, we've built a new compost pile. I guess I've talked about this, but I haven't really shown anyone yet. So let me come over here. Pardon the mess while we're reconstructing. But we have a brand new compost pile. This was the old compost pile. We decided we wanted to move it, although now it's turned into the potato pile. Actually, we've been digging and we found so many potatoes that we might actually turn that into a potato growing area now. But right through here, we're going to be taking this old pile out, the old raised bed, going to level this out, and we're actually going to be planting 2 fruit trees back here. So we're going to have a fig and a mulberry, and then we're going to have a little patio through here where we're going to have some of our shade plants. This part of the yard is very, very shady because of these trees that have grown very large, especially the ficus over here has really taken off. And so we're going to use this as our shade garden area going forward. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much. I look forward to having you guys back in the class. If you end up rejoining, of course, hit me up anytime. I can help you get back into the class. But you can also join me here. I'm going to try to do this every Monday going forward, so you can follow along and see how things are coming. Alrighty, everybody. I think it's just about time to go. I don't have a whole lot of sunlight left. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see probably most of you at some point in time during the week. But if not, then I hope I see you all very soon. Take care of yourselves.